Taking reserve, Errol Flynn, CF. Errol Flynn, owned by Lindsey Smith. And your national champion, Medicine Man V. Medicine Man, owned by Heather and Chris Whitney. Reserve champion, Allegiance BF. Allegiance, owned by the Beesford Farms. Your national champion, Halston SF. Halston SF, owned by Wendy and Kendall Croney. Reserve champion, Casablanca Afire. Casablanca Afire, owned by Monica Gramcow. National champion, Rest Assured. Rest Assured, Donna and Chris Sells are the owners. Your reserve champion, RS Drakkar Bay. Drakkar Bay, owned by Rochelle Osborne. National champion, DA Tristan. Tristan, owned by Bridget and Katie Atwood. Reserve champion, Who's Your Daddy, LOA. Who's Your Daddy, owned by the Live Oak Arabians. Your national champion, She Be a Diva, KBS. She Be a Diva, owned by the Oak Ridge Arabians. Taking reserve, LSH, A Lot of Red Roses. A Lot of Red Roses, owned by Ashley and Martha Smith. Your national champion, Donatella Versace. Donatella Versace, owned by the White Rock Ranch. Reserve champion, Serendipity, KK. Serendipity, owned by Kimberly Kellerman. Your national champion, Rula. Rula, owned by Terry Boggs. Taking reserve, Drama.com, LRA. Drama.com, owned by Wendy Tinker. Your national champion, A Rose is a Rose. A Rose is a Rose, owned by White Rock Ranch. Reserve champion, Got the Blues. Got the Blues, owned by Kenneth and Susan Knight. National champion, Smarty Ames. Smarty Ames, owned by Sally Bedecker. Reserve champion, Rohara Justa America. Rohara Justa America, owned by Robert Janicki. National champion, PKH Touch of Fame. Touch of Fame, owned by Elisa Weber. Reserve champion, Shut Up and Dance. Shut Up and Dance, owned by the Oak Ridge Arabians. And your national champion, moving up one slot, Got the Blues. Kenneth and Susan Knight are the owners. Reserve champion, DRA Equity. Equity, owned by Kenneth and Susan Knight. National champion, repeating his national champion, PKH Touch of Fame. Touch of Fame, owned by Anissa Weber. Reserve Champion LBC Isabeau. Isabeau owned by Molly Purdy. National Champion SA Sophisticated Lady. Sophisticated Lady owned by Mike and Justin Medved. Taking reserve, Toy Primero. Toy Primero owned by Live Oak West. National Champion Excels High Fashion. High Fashion owned by Jessica Clinton. Reserve Champion was Born to Boogie. Born to Boogie owned by Kathleen Weber. National Champion SA Rapid Fire. Rapid Fire owned by Gary and Loretta Reeder. Your Reserve Champion Blazin' Fire. Blazin' Fire owned by Mary Keller. National Champion Adams Fire. Adams Fire owned by the Starline Arabians. Reserve Champion OA Starstruck. OA Starstruck owned by Jessica Clinton. National Champion Revelation JF. Revelation owned by Diane and Ken Hicks. Reserve Cotton Candies. Cotton Candies owned by Elvin Berkheimer. National Champion Snow in Summer. Snow in Summer owned by Diane Latham. Taking a shot at reserve, it's Brass Glamour Shot. Brass Glamour Shot owned by the 6D Ranch. Your national champion was definitely Prim and Proper. Prim and Proper owned by Richard and Janet Thompson. Reserve Champion Toy Supreme CRF. Toy Supreme owned by the Cedar Ridge Farm. National Champion Aphrodisiac. Aphrodisiac owned by Hillary Alpert. Reserve Champion WP Rosanna Arana. Rosanna Arana owned by David and Cindy Bandy. National Champion Adams Fire. Adams Fire owned by the Starline Arabians. Reserve Champion Toy Primero. Toy Primero owned by Live Oak West. National Champion Indecent Proposal. Indecent Proposal owned by Cindy Moriarty. Your reserve champion was Worth the Wait. Worth the Wait owned by the Great Bend Ranch. National Champion SA The Gambler. The Gambler owned by Ken and Jessica Milne. Reserve Champion Bluebeard NA. Bluebeard owned by Susan Bailey Schramm. And National Champion Thank Gods. Thank Gods owned by Fred and Wendy Zender.